Good afternoon, this is Stephen Bourne with the Rise Civic League. All right, March, a lot's going on this month. Tuesday night, March 7th, 7 p.m. Come in here, the different select board candidates and school board candidates. Also on March 9th, over at the junior high, there's going to be a Rye Water District meeting. Talk about the survey, the results from that, and if you think we should build a water treatment plant, now's the time to speak up and let them know about it. March 14th is the election, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Rye Elementary School. By the way, one of the candidates for the Library Board of Trustees realized she cannot serve, so there is an open position if anyone's interested in being a write-in. We already have one person. That information is on the Civic League's website, and you can read about the candidates, and there will also be anyone that wants to be a write-in can come to Candidates Night on March 7th. And then at the end of the month, at March 25th, at 10 a.m. at the Rye Junior High, is the annual Rye Water District. 2/3 of people in Rye live in the Rye Water District. Only about 50 or 60 people, that's the most I've ever seen at one of those meetings, and it has over a $2 million budget. If you missed, all right, the deliberative town meeting or the town meeting, it was the beginning of February. Yes, it was 11 degrees below zero that morning, but we had about 70 to 90 residents there. We had our first ever Civic Fest. We had Seacoast Soups, Common Roots, Engrain, that's over in Rye Enfield, all bring food. We had over 13 different groups around Rye talking to residents, police, fire, rec, conservation, energy, all explaining what they do, answering questions, so hopefully we'll do that next year. I just mentioned the Rye Water District budget, over $2 million. We've got links to the Rye Beach District meeting, and same thing with the Genis. Select board meeting, CMA engineers were talking about the Breakfast Hill landfill monitoring, and also the Grove Road dump. By the way, if you watch that video, they still call it a landfill. Grove Road is a dump. They talked about how the old fire pit was just filled in with trash, saturated with water, and leaking PFOAs into that area. Just want to make a quick note that Jeannie Monahan served 24 years on the school board. She went to her last meeting. Also, Phil Winslow is stepping down from the select board. Phil served many years on the planning board. He was on the Parsonage Building Committee, Parsons Creek, and 2 terms or more as a select board member. So we want to thank those people for their many years and tons of hours serving Rye. For the rest of the news, my esteemed colleague Alex.
Submissions for Rye 400 Art Show will be judged March 25th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Rye Congregational Church. Other Rye 400 events in March include Rye Reads at 5 p.m. on March 8th at the library with a viewing of the film Tuck Everlasting, followed by a group discussion and Rye Writes at 6:30 p.m. on March 15th at the library, featuring poet Amy White. Planning Board accepted 17,750 NHHOP grants. In the DPW news, their boiler failed after the cold snap and is currently running on a rented unit. Public Works requested an accelerated purchasing process for a replacement. Also, DPW has announced that credit card payments for bulk materials will begin soon. The Select Board approved $99,350 for design and build phase for Harbor Road Bridge. Community Power mailer on the program will go out in March. Community Power will be at a Select Board meeting and will be in a bigger room, a larger space. There will be an information table at the RES election exit on March 14th and at the transfer station on Saturdays. Request made to move the Parsons Field boulder with dedication sign to a place where it can be better viewed. Our representative, Jackie Grode, will be providing a New Hampshire House legislative update for February. And on Rye history, which you'll be hearing about soon, one other item behind me is a New Englander style house. That was the parish house for the Christian churches that used to be on this site.
All right, stick around and learn more about Rye Town Center from our esteemed historian, Mr. Herlihy, coming up next.
Good morning. We're standing at the historic Rye Center site of what today is obviously the Fire and Police Station, but way back in time, there were native peoples here on Rye Ridge. And for those who don't know why it's called Rye Ridge, all you have to do is drive down by the town hall on Central Road, downhill, or go down Lang Road, downhill, and you can see the effect of it, the ridge. The other roads don't show you that. So this was settled early on in the mid-1600s by European settlers. There used to be a town pound in back of me for stray animals, great big stone square thing. And then later on in the 1800s, the first Christian church was built on this site where we're standing, 1839. That burned down in 1888, and they built a second, a brown Victorian-style church on this same site here. And then that was dismantled and moved to Billerica, Mass. In 1947. And then in 1954, Rye, whose fire department had been housed down at the Rye Beach Precinct building up to that time, got its first central fire station. And that was built in 1954, a one-story building. They never could add a second store because it was substandard. Old Parish Road, people always wonder about what's the business with the parish. That was built in the late 60s to locate a huge house that was moved by the town hall. It used to be the parish house, but that was a church. And they moved it up Center Hill in one piece and down this brand new road, and it sits at the bottom of Old Parish Road. So by the turn of this century, the 2000s, there was a crying need for a new fire police station. So there was no civic news then, and very few people came to the public hearings. So there was a debate. We definitely needed one. We needed what's behind me. It's just a question of how big it was going to be. And that was debatable then, and it still is a matter of debate. But that's how we got to this point on this historic site. For 100 years, across the road, there was a store, a commercial place in the center of Rye from 1870 to 1969. It's the only time we've had such a business in downtown. And wouldn't it be nice to have a coffee shop back in Rye Center again sometime? Thank you.
Do I stop?